Welcome in, everybody, to TB Sports 27. Glad to have you guys along for another episode of the RXFL. It is week number 3, and it is a national championship rematch here in Portland. This is a primetime battle, and this is big business. Both these teams coming in at 1-1. You guys can check out the previous episodes of the RXFL to see where all these teams are in the standings. But coming into this one, Portland is 1-1. St. Louis is 1-1. St. Louis, of course, the defending National Conference champions by defeating Portland in the National Championship. Now, we call the AFC and the NFC in the RXFL, the National and the American Conference, and the National Championship, obviously the equivalent of the NFC Championship. So this was the big showdown last season on the national side of things. Portland finished last season 15-1, so they were the number 1 seed and pretty dominant throughout the year. You're going to see a lot of former Denver Broncos on this Portland Lumberjacks squad, as you're seeing number 30, TD Terrell Davis, and you can see what he did last week. 3 rushing touchdowns. Good to see TD getting a second run at a pro football career, of course, reuniting Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson as well, but you can't overlook the National Conference champs on the other side. Jim Kelly and company, man, Jim Kelly 0 for 5 in big-time championships. That's been the thing about the Legends League, is we finally got to see quarterbacks win a pro football championship that never did in their career. We got to see Warren Moon win 2 of them with the Huntington Beach Killer Whales. Now, obviously, Warren Moon won a bunch of CFL titles, but as far as in the States, he never got to win a Super Bowl. He got to win 2 of the championships in the RPF, the Revolution Pro Football League, the I guess RPL, maybe, the Revolution Pro League. And Warren Moon got to win his 2 there. And then, of course, in season 4, it was Dan Marino that won his title, that finally won his title, defeating John Elway. Then we saw Andre Ware, season 5, and then this, technically, the season 6 of the Legends. Now, we've been doing this league a lot longer than that, but of the Legends, this was the 6th year of it, and it was Lamar Jackson, and it was Jim Kelly. And Jim Kelly, for the 5th time, going for a pro football championship after going 0 for 4 in Super Bowls. And, well, you saw what happened. He took the L, took the loss. So, starting off, though, passing in classic Jim Kelly fashion. That is Jimmy Smith with the reception. So, you got Eric Dickerson as well in the backfield. Pretty loaded at the running back group for the St. Louis Rhinos, with Eric Dickerson leading the way. You also have Thurman Thomas, who was also looking for a pro football championship that kind of went 0 for in his career as part of the Bills. So this is almost kind of like a Denver Broncos Buffalo Bills showdown, if you will, here in the RXFL. So we got, oh my goodness, I think Kelly thought he could have snuck that right pass, but it was knocked down by Lance Briggs. So we got Alpha Sapphire in the house. He was the first one to join us in this live chat. We should be having SK Money joining us a little bit later on, because he's actually the one that put the request in. As you guys know, over on Patreon, we allow our Patreon supporters to have a say in what we stream here. We did a mega fan streams for a while, ultra fan streams. Now we just as a group, let you guys jump in and comment. So there's a bit of a debate here. Look at this. Kelly completes it to Megatron for the first down. A bit of a debate over on Patreon, because there was discussion, there was a push to see the second season of Arena Football come up, but I kind of countered that by saying we could do Arena Football, absolutely, but I'm going away on my trip in 2 weeks, so I probably only have like 3 or 4 streams left in me before that trip. Do you guys want to see me get started with Arena Football and then have to put a stop on it for a couple of weeks while I'm away? So ultimately, it was voted on. Well, let's see the RXFL. So thank you to our Patreon supporters for making that possible. If you want to be a part of the community on Patreon, we'll be pushing some links out at the end of the first quarter. So stay tuned for that. At the bottom of the screen, we already kicked off week number 3 over on Patreon. It is up right now, early, ad-free, and not coming out on YouTube. You got to sign up, patreon.com/tvsports27 to see an incredible matchup. The second time you guys are going to get to see the defending Ultra Bowl champions, Lamar Jackson, and the Toronto Huskies, as they went toe-to-toe with the New England Nightmare. And it was a coming out party for Bobby Lane, who had a terrific, fantastic game. You can just see the score when it scrolls by at the bottom and tell you how competitive that game was. But an absolutely fantastic game. But in the end, it's the New England Nightmare who you're going to see is going to fall over. They're going to take the L. But you guys, they're going to go to 0-3. So they're still trying to figure things out there in Foxborough in New England. But as far as you guys are concerned, you guys can check that out at any level that you like. Help support the channel, and we'll get those links for you a little bit later on. We'll give a quick shout out, though, while we're talking about it, to our Patreon supporters. So thank you to each and every one of you that support. And thank you to you guys that join us here live in the Twitch chat, like our good buddy Alpha Sapphire does as well. And all of you that check us out on YouTube or however you watch. I give you a lot of different places where you guys can watch the channel. So you got Patreon, got YouTube, you got Twitch, you know, a lot of good places. So good drive here, good opening drive, lengthy drive for the St. Louis Rhinos, and Dickerson nearly into the end zone. Touchdown saving tackle by Jake Scott and company. This has been a hefty opening drive, eating up half of the first quarter. And they got first and goal. So Thurman Thomas is going to come in this goal line situation. And Thomas barely gets the ball in his hand. And it was at 91. That would be Jay Rat. No, they're going to say Lance Briggs. That's on 91 back there. Let's get the official number. It was indeed Lance Briggs. So how about that? Briggs making 2 nice tackles here on this drive. So they got to switch things up now in St. Louis. Second and goal. Kelly going to send Thurman Thomas in motion. How often growing up in the 90s have you heard that? Yes, we got SK Money in the house as Jim Kelly is going to get sacked, and it's Lance Briggs one more time. The Dimmadome in Portland, Oregon. Yes, sir. This was an SK Money request. We were just talking about that earlier. So we got the legends, you know, feeling like you're back in the 90s SK Money with Thurman Thomas and Jim Kelly out there for the St. Louis Rhinos. So St. Louis in the purple and gold, Portland in the brown and red. Kelly on third down here is going to throw it into traffic. It's swatted away, and it will be incomplete. So they drive down the field on a very impressive drive, but Lance Briggs and company are going to hold the Rhinos out of the end zone. So coming on for your field goal attempt is going to be Garo Yepremian, right? How about that? Coming in for the kick. And it is through the uprights for Mr. Yepremian. Is it still Garo? It was last year. No, they changed kickers, pardon me. That's Josh Scobie. I got to update my rosters. It was Garo Yepremian last season who helped the Eclipse win a championship. Or 2 seasons ago, I guess I should say, helped the Eclipse win a championship. But Josh Scobie's in there. Yepremian's out. So one of the members of the 72 Dolphins is told to hit the bricks. Okay, we will see the Portland Lumberjacks. Now, coming up at the end of week 4, we're going to start ranking the teams like we did last season, almost college football style. There's the numbers for Russell Wilson. Looking good on the year. Looking much better than he does in orange and blue, huh? How about that? Need to be a trade in the works for that guy. But he's looking good. 15-1 team coming up short in the national championship game. You got TD in the backfield, Terrell Davis, and they will start with the handoff to Terrell Davis. And you got a whole host of Rhinos. Jason Taylor was leading the charge on that one. Here's a look at your offense for the Portland Lumberjacks, formerly known as the Portland Ironmen in our previous league. But I've been changing a lot of the names up here or there, so we could bring back the Ironmen one day. It could be a name, the iron of the axe, right? And you guys like Lumberjacks. I don't know. Wilson, wide open is Terrell Davis, and if he has the speed, he already burned Desmond Trufant, and making the tackle, Paul Cruz. How about Terrell Davis? Did he hit 50 yards or 60 yards? They say 60. I guess that was yards after catch, what they were saying there. Yeah, that was the yak. How about this? Desmond Trufant, wow, falls right on his face. The Portland Lumberjacks. It was shocking. You know, they went 15-1 last season to start this season 0-1. Kind of crazy. Go right back to TD. They're not even worried. You know, he might be gassed after a big play like that. Pete Carroll's not worried. They say give TD the rock again. You got Too Tall Jones out there. You got Zach Taylor. You got Lambert, James Harrison. This is why this team went to the Ultra Bowl last season. Coming up just short, coming up shy in a loss, but had quite the Ultra Bowl. You guys can check that out on our YouTube page. It is all out there, so go check it out. 2nd and goal. And it's a play fake. You would have think they learned from the Super Bowl. No, it's going to be incomplete. No Super Bowl learning for Pete Carroll. So they decide to throw the football. Does not work. Could have been a disaster. And now you got 3rd and goal. Are we going to have another goal line stand in this one? To the outside. Good blocks. TD for a TD. Terrell Davis gets your first touchdown of the game on the board for the Portland Lumberjacks. They feel like both of these teams feel like they have unfinished business. I was going to say, you know, the Lumberjacks, wow, actually, he might not have crossed the goal line. We've already had controversial play calls, and for some reason, this game does not allow you to challenge. I've never been able to challenge a play. I'm not sure he crossed the goal line, and the game's probably not going to do it either, so it's almost like we're going into another world where plays aren't reviewed or challenged. I don't know why you can't challenge plays in this game, but let's take a look at this again, because we had controversy in the Battle of London that we did last time out. Let's see, did he ever cross the goal line? He may have just broke the plane right there. I can't really slow it down anymore. I think, yeah, he just barely got past. That was close. I really can't slow it down anymore. This is, the game just like jumps ahead. Yeah, he did. Okay. No controversy there. It was close though. That's about as close as you can get, and then got shoved back. My goodness. That was a tight one. But both of these teams, I was going to say Portland's got unfinished business, but both of these teams have unfinished business, as the extra point is going to be whiffed on. Holy smokes. I'm not even sure. I got to look real quick. That was Jason Hansen, by the way, on a missed kick. New kicker. If you want to see all the stuff that gets cut out of YouTube, you can check us out on our Patreon page, because we will upload this in full. So if you think the stuff we leave in is good, whoa, wait till you see the stuff we cut out that's on Patreon and Twitch. It's a little Simpsons humor for you. Section 200. We're actually in the this big dome in Portland, so I think we go up to the 400 section, SK Money. It's big business here, but they're probably not going crazy for that missed kick. Probably a lot of anger and frustration there. So we head back to St. Louis, and Thurman Thomas with the reception down to the 50-yard line. So legends. It's like every game in the RXFL is a Pro Bowl, right? Every single time you step onto the field, you're seeing greatness in pro football. And, you know, for SK Money, it's a good history lesson for him, too, because he's coming in as a football, you know, a young soul born before some of the greats. He wasn't around when Eric Dickerson was rushing for 2,000 yards, you know, so it's a chance for him to see Eric Dickerson in his prime in the purple and gold doing his thing on the field. But To continue my point from before, unfinished business, both of these teams, not only the Portland Lumberjacks, who went 15-1, but lost in the national championship game. They feel like they could have easily been Ultra Bowl champions. And then you have the St. Louis Rhinos, who are a couple of plays away. They were actually an onside kick away in the Ultra Bowl from possibly winning an Ultra Bowl championship. So back on the ground game to Dickerson. Purple might just be the lucky color, man. The Dragons, San Antonio Dragons, went to 2 of the Ultra Bowl championships in the past. And then, of course, the Salt Lake City Fury wearing these colors. That's where the colors switch between Salt Lake City. Look at this. First down for Dickerson. The colors change from Salt Lake City to St. Louis when they swapped colors, swapped ownership there. These are the Fury's colors. And then the yellow and blue of St. Louis ended up going to Salt Lake City for the new Fury, formerly the Elks. And, of course, last season, this purple St. Louis Rhinos team made it. And then, technically, the Atlantic City Eclipse donned some purple in their uniforms because they're going to be changing to the Brooklyn Beat. So it is 6-3 as we hit the end of an exciting first quarter. There's all the links that we were talking about. Check them all out. Follow along on Twitch. Subscribe, YouTube, Twitter. We tweeted out that we were going live. So if you're not part of the Twitter community, you missed when we were going live, where you gotta do like SK Money did, turn those notifications on. And then, of course, Patreon. If you want to see that game at the bottom of your screen, New England versus Toronto, it is up right now for our Patreon members. Patreon. Look at Jim Kelly. Oh, this is going to be bad. Kelly just trying to get out of bounds, and he got crushed anyway. My goodness, Kelly at the last minute. Well, he was going to run it, I don't think at the last minute, but he didn't quite have the speed. And then barreling down on, I didn't get a number on who that was, but absolutely crushed him. But Dickerson, there's how you run the football. So check out Patreon if you want to get this video early and ad-free. Patreon is the place to do so. It'll be up months before it comes out on YouTube. Actually, SK Money on YouTube, we just dropped the episode that we did a couple of months ago where we played NCAA 08, Raw 2, and what else did we play? WWE 12, right? We did the Royal Rumble on there. So that just went up on YouTube today, that previous stream. So go check that out. You can see SK Money. We gotta do another one of those streams one of these days. I don't know, I'm getting married soon, so I don't know. Might not have time anymore. It's gonna be a wild time. Streaming, man, I don't know. 5 days a week. Oh, look at this. We got talking, we got chatting going on right now. They're talking noise to each other. Yes, sir. So, yeah, check out the bonus episode of Toronto and New England and check out this game early and ad-free. They are really, man, making it tough. Kelly just completely underthrew it. This Portland defense, and you saw Jarrell Rivas out there kind of leading the charge. Now they're going to go empty set, and they even got Dickerson out there trying to silence the crowd. That's not going to work here. Kelly takes the snap, pressure from the outside, forces a throw to Megatron, and Jarrell Rivas, the Rivas Island, is there in pursuit. And once again, a great drive for the St. Louis Rhinos. They got to go for a field goal, though. So Josh Scobie, the new kicker for the Rhinos, will come on. Tony Romo on to hold, and the kick is good. So with the missed extra point, we are now tied 6-6 here in this battle in Portland. How about Portland and St. Louis kind of becoming a low-key rivalry here in the world of football? I bet you guys didn't expect that one. Ashley Morgan on your kick return. We saw a kick return for a touchdown, which is like a rarity in Madden. It happens 1 every 100 times, I think. I think I can count on one hand how many times I've done a kick return for a touchdown. We had one happen on the Patreon Thursday night game between New England and Toronto, and it was actually a backbreaker of a play for the New England Nightmare. So go check that out because it was a crazy comeback. Russell Wilson under pressure, and then throws it at the last minute to Denver Bronco Rod Smith. But the ball punched out of his hand by Roy Williams and falls to the turf. 2nd and 10. Pretty defensive-minded battle that we're seeing right now. Wilson getting flustered in the pocket, tries to step up, and gets driven down by Jack Lambert. Man, that's a matchup. I'd like to see Russell Wilson and Jack Lambert try to go toe-to-toe. That might get ugly, especially with the way Russ played this past season in Denver. Yeah, Jack Lambert, he would, with Wilson's size, he would do some damage to Russell Wilson. So 3rd and 12, Russ dropping back, and incomplete, looking for Del Schofner, and coverage made by Desmond Trufant. So Trufant doing a nice job as he got burned by Terrell Davis a couple moments ago, bouncing back. How about WWE color commentator of Monday Night Raw, Pat McAfee, coming on to punt this one away for the brand. Yes, sir. And run up by Willis Randolph. SK Money, are you a big Pat McAfee guy? I followed Pat from, I knew him from football, but I started really seeing how entertaining he could be on Twitter. He would be tweeting out before like any of the TV deals or anything. He would tweet out just him commentating on plays from his phone, like filming the TV, and they were the funniest things. They were so funny, and my buddies and I would share them on Twitter and send the message and everything. They were so funny. And then he started doing stuff with NXT, and of course, big wrestling people were like, "Oh man, it's Pat." And then from there, he got the Pat McAfee show, and it kind of just all blew up and went from there, just little by little, to where he's on College Game Day, and he was doing stuff with the XFL, and pretty cool to see his rise. And now he's a color commentator on Monday Night Raw. Eric Dickerson ducks under Jake Scott.
Get ready, get ready, get ready.
Does Dickerson have a 2,000-yard season in him here today? Not today, but this season. Could be. San Francisco, Austin. That was the game that was debated. That was almost brought to you as the game of the week with the battle of the unbeatens and the defending league MVP, Michael Vick. But ultimately, the television people, aka me, thought that the battle of the rematch of the national championship, if this wasn't a national championship rematch, we probably would have seen San Francisco and Austin go at it. But stay tuned if you guys are watching on Twitch or if you're watching on Patreon. Then coming up at the end of this game, we're going to look at all the scores from week 3 and get you previewed for week number 4. If you guys are watching on YouTube, then part 2 coming tomorrow, and the week 3 score wrap-up, my best version of the Chris Berman show from 2K5. That's going to be coming your way on 2 days, on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the thumbs up so you get that action. Chris Amberg with the QB sack on to Jim Kelly. And it is going to be a 3rd and long for the St. Louis Rhinos. So we've seen some good offense the last couple of our XFL games. The Battle of London had explosive offense, and then our Patreon game between New England and Toronto was pretty explosive. That was, boy, you had Megatron going down the sideline, really didn't have anybody around him, was pretty open, and Jim Kelly kind of under-delivered. You're looking at this here, look at this. Man, you get some more air under that one. Megatron's heading in. And maybe just, give credit, perhaps, a really good jump by Jake Scott. Could have jumped up there and got his hands on that one. So credit where credit is due in that regard. There's the man, the punter. He took Gary Premian's number. I got to look over my rosters again. I didn't think there were any big roster changes from last season to this season, but Premian out, done, toast. 6-6, second quarter winding down. Russell Wilson throws that one right into the hands of Paul Krause. Russ feeling that one. Kraus, I mean, it was tossed into double coverage. Looking for Rod Smith, but Kraus took that one all the way. Who's going to break out in this one? And we saw some really good drives from the St. Louis Rhinos, but just 2 field goals, just 6 points here in this ball game. Kelly, again, kind of feeling the pressure. And knocked away. I almost think the running game so far on both sides of the ball has kind of been more effective between Dickerson and Terrell Davis. Back on the ground to Dickerson. Well, there you go. Dickerson picked up the first down. You might just continue to run it with Dickerson. Eddie Jackson on the tackle. Now, obviously, you don't want to wear him out. He's already got 15 carries in this game, but maybe you can drain some clock and kind of get a score here. Portland would get the ball to begin the second half. Dickerson got wrapped up. Arenas Williams, nice tackle made there. Talking some noise. Brown and red actually doesn't look too bad. You know, you don't see brown that much as a color in any sport. I'm trying to think, like, obviously the Cleveland Browns. And then you got Bivouac in the big 3 that wear brown. The Padres wear brown in baseball, brown and yellow. And then, of course, the Wyoming Cowboys wear brown, but nobody in the NBA wears brown. Odell Beckham for the first down. Nobody in hockey has brown. The Bruins alternate jerseys, when they wear that big grizzly bear on the front, has brown, but no one has a primary brown. And then no one besides the Browns in football have brown. So underrated. Of course, we got the brown and green of the Lumberjacks. Portland, or the Redwoods, rather, brown and green. And the Lumberjacks here, brown and red. But brown and red, you know, goes good. I think it's an underrated color combo here. End of the first chunk of the second quarter as we hit to the 2-minute warning here. If you're Portland, maybe they try to steal one more possession. They try to get the ball back. Might call some timeouts here. Kelly is going to throw it. And once again, could not get the football away as Lance Briggs barrels down on him. And Jim Kelly has been hit a number of times. Not only in this game, but especially down in the red zone. Now they're backed way up. But Kelly, they get down to this field and they fold under the pressure. Look at this. It is caught by Odell Beckham. There he got some air under it. That was a huge play for the St. Louis Rhinos. How's that Section 200 going? You got a good seat if you're in Section 200. It's the big dome. Kelly to Megatron, and one broken up by Jake Scott.
Ready. Mike, 56, right there, 56. I got you, boy.
Draw play to Dickerson. Nothing happening on that one. Timeout called by the Lumberjacks. 3rd and 11, so they have a shot to pick up a first down here, which would essentially, you would think, wind the clock down to half. Kelly, that looked like a nearly identical play to what happened last time Odell caught one. It is a touchdown for Odell Beckham. And you look at this team, it took a while for us to get the St. Louis Rhinos. It was like week 11, week 12 before we saw them back in season 1. And you look at the stacked offense, and we were wondering why they were struggling so much. Then the second half of the year, they really turned it on, really got going, finished 11-5. In fact, 3 teams in the National North, St. Louis, Chicago Wolverines, and Mexico City, all finished with an 11-5 record. So it was a pretty stacked division. And you look at Odell Beckham, Megatron, Jim Kelly, Eric Dickerson, and people were like, why is this team not only were they not favored like the London Bulldogs were, but they were kind of rocking around 500 before they really started winning kind of down the stretch. And pretty loaded defense as well that you guys saw as we looked at. I mean, Too Tall Jones. Then you got Jason Taylor, James Harrison. Come on, Jimmy Smith out there as well. Kyle Rudolph. Joey Porter, Thurman Thomas, Roy Williams. I mean, I'm mixing now. offense and defense. Russell Wilson's numbers, man, not too good right now. But they went all the way to the league championship, so credit to them. Wilson takes a sack. 52, Jonathan Vilma. And the second timeout called here for the Portland Lumberjacks. So even with the sack, feeling like they can make some headway here. 2nd and 14, pistol formation. And Russell Wilson. That one is going to be caught by Rod Smith. How about that to wake things up a little bit for the Portland offense? And other than that big catch and run from TD, that was only the second catch of the game here for the Lumberjacks. And there is Brenner.
Here we go. Here we go.
Colby Brenner.
Here we go.
And Portland,
50.
they got things going now. 1 timeout, so they got to kind of hurry with 30 seconds. Russell Wilson just gets rid of it. It's caught by Brenner. Are you kidding me? What a play by Russell Wilson. Oh, and he took a shot back there. I don't know who got their hands on him. He took a shot. Oh, my goodness, and still got rid of it. Very nicely done. What a quick drive this was for the Portland Lumberjacks. Again, only no timeouts, actually. Look at that. I thought they had one left. No timeouts left for the Lumberjacks. So this is, wow, this would have been a clock management nightmare if they didn't get it. Well, they got to go quick now. You got to go to the end zone. Hurry up and try to run one more play here. Time will wind down. You got 10 seconds, 9. You got to go to the end zone with it. They bring the blitz, and it's Rod Smith for the score. They left Smith wide open. What a drive. And the Portland Lumberjacks are going to get the ball to begin the second half. How about that? So they have a chance to go back-to-back. They have a chance to go for a twofer. Both feet down by Rod Smith. This Denver Bronco-esque roster here in Portland, as we will go for the point after attempt. This time it is good. And they'd have the lead right now if it wasn't for that shankopotamus by Hansen. And we have, I think, time for one more kickoff here. 5 seconds. So, I mean, they could fair catch it and put it in the hands of Jim Kelly, depending on how they feel. Should be an interesting take. That is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to take a fair catch, and they're going to let Jim Kelly, who's got the arm, take one big heave at this thing. I mean, it's going to be a long distance, too. You got Megatron out there. Which one is Megatron? Megatron at the far end there, so there we go. Tipped around, incomplete. Yeah, it was going to take a miracle for that to happen, but you got Calvin Johnson, you got Jim Kelly. What the heck? You throw it up there, you see what happens. All right, that's going to do it, guys, for the first half. Don't go anywhere, because the second half coming your way shortly here on TB Sports 27. Make sure you guys are all signed up. Make sure you subscribed to the various links, the various social medias. You want to help support the channel. And coming up in a couple of episodes, too, we're going to show you all the scores from week number 3. So you guys don't want to miss it. Come on back, TB Sports second half. Coming your way in just a couple of moments.